I used to think that being self-compassionate, loving myself, accepting myself as I am, being gentle with myself will turn me into a blob, a lazy person who will not get anything done because I will just be so gentle with myself. Boy, was I wrong. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's actually the opposite. The more compassionate I am with myself, the more loving I am with myself, the more stuff I do. I wouldn't be doing consistently these videos for over a year now if I wasn't self-compassionate. So it's not discipline. Actually, self-compassion overcomes discipline. And here's why. Whenever you decide on a goal that you want to do, going to the gym, eating healthier, being better at your work, maybe with your family relationships, communicating differently, changing your self-identity, you can apply it to any area really. One thing is inevitable, and that is failure. And the thing is that the more self-compassionate we are, the easier it is to accept failure and not let it to destroy us. And that's why I used to teach my clients the 90-10 principle. When I would be working as a behavior coach years ago, I would be telling my clients, whenever you start on a path to changing a habit, implementing new wellness routines for your well-being, let's start at 40-50. That means that we do let's take the gym example because I think it's the easiest to understand for our brains. You go to the gym 40% of what your goal is. And the goal is not 100%, the goal is 90%, but we'll get to there. Then once that 40% becomes so easy that you're like, yeah, I'm slaying this, I'm on it. Then you go to 50-50, then 60-40, then 70, 80, 90. There's always that 10% of space because that gives you that self-compassion that would allow you not to feel like a total failure. Because most of the times what I found people quit is when they think they've failed and it's just irreversible and they're just a failure, so why even bother trying? And then the whole stake at doing the habit, doing the behavior change becomes so big because then on the other side there's failure and the whole self beating up that comes with it, that we're just like, I'd better not even try than fail, which is inevitable, and be feeling so shitty about myself. So people just get into that cycle, and that's why discipline doesn't work. And people would come to me saying, I really need your help because I just have zero self-discipline, zero, what's it called? Willpower. I have zero willpower. Help me make a change. And when I would tell them that, okay, actually let's lower the expectations first of all. And second of all, let's look into self-compassion. And I would see the fear in their eyes being like, look, if you allow me to have self-compassion and being gentle with myself for eating all of these candies, I will never stop because I need to be harsh with myself. I need to, if nobody will push me from inside, I will not make a change. And that is just not how it works. I wouldn't be continuing doing these YouTube videos because, of course, I failed during this commitment process. There were months and weeks when I would be moving and traveling and I just wasn't able to produce a video. And what kept me still consistently going is when I was gentle with myself. Like, okay, yeah, I missed a video, but that's okay. There's always next week that I can come back to and do it again. And I got this skill from meditation because I remember I was meditating with Sam Harris on the Waking Up app years ago. There was a day when my mind was wandering so much. And in the meditation, he said, your mind wandered. That's a normal process, first of all. And second of all, imagine that the next breath you're taking is the first breath of your practice. And I love that so much, the new beginning, that I can always start new. Not having the harsh, beating up feeling that I'm total failure, why even bother with meditation? And that's what kept me in the meditating all these years, because I know that this is a natural process. And when it comes to food, why I'm able to maintain my healthy diet, eating no processed food and no sugar, is not because I am so disciplined and I have this harsh inner critic, telling me to, but because I've developed the self-compassion and self-love through self-respect, that I respect my body not to eat junk food because I know I feel bad afterwards. So it was from a much gentler approach. Am I able to, for the last 10 years, to eat a very healthy diet, even though before I was eating all kinds of shitty stuff? And it was just because I started working on my self-compassion, being gentle with myself, and first of all, the respect part, that I started really training my respect for my body, especially when it came to the behavioral around food. Another way to explain it would be through internal family systems. A therapeutic modality I absolutely love and use, I would say, the most out of all the other modalities that I've been trained in with my clients, because I just find it brings such inner wholeness and inner leadership that no other modality can do that. And looking through the internal family systems lens is that whenever we have a part that is very active and strong, let's say in this example, it's the inner critic, and the inner critic is really active and working hard to discipline us and to, beat us up into doing something, there will become a polarization. There will come another part, whether that's your inner child, your inner rebel. For everybody is different. Let's say that inner rebel, that will become also very strong and active. So you will start to getting that push and pull, and the inner rebel will want you to not go to the gym and stay lazy by the TV or eat junk foods, because they will want to be a balance. When there's a lot of control, there, inevitably sometimes will come the out of the control situation and your inner part. So what happens when we befriend the inner critic and we start to talk to ourselves in a more gentler, more soothing way, from the understanding place that it's okay, it always happens. The inner critic will not have such a hard push, such a strong push, and then the inner rebel will also lessen. So you will start to become more harmonized. And it's a big oversimplification of how internal family systems work, but maybe this example will resonate with some of you more to illustrate why it's so important to not have the harsh inner discipliner, inner critic, because then there will be another part that will also develop, that will be in the opposite, that will sabotage all of your change. And Liz Gilbert is a big inspiration for me, and she talks about how the people who are the most creative and who stay in the game creating the longest are the ones who are self-compassionate and gentle with themselves when they fail, so that the failure doesn't sink them down and they can keep going forward. So with this video, that was my whole goal, to at least spark a curiosity in you, to explore different ways of navigating life and developing that muscle of inner compassion and care for yourself, and say, okay, let's experiment. Let's, if you've done the discipline path and it didn't work, maybe let's do 2 weeks where I will talk to myself in a gentler way. Whenever you notice yourself speaking to yourself in a very harsh way, if it helps, you can write it out to actually see that, to see what's your inner dialogue. And if somebody else was to speak to you like that, what would your response be? Because for most people, it's rebelling. It's like, don't tell me what to do. How dare you talk to me like that? But when we talk to ourselves like that, we don't realize that there's in us that other part that also comes forward like, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't you tell me what to do. Or feeling so belittled and so shameful that just comes into shutdown, which none of them really give you the goal, the result that you were looking for. So it's either writing it out and questioning that thought, or, putting a hand on your heart and soothing like that yourself. There are many different practices, but I'm sure you can find a way that works for you by having the goal of being more compassionate with yourself and watching your inner dialogue and your thoughts. And if you've never done any awareness practices, of course, it's going to be quite hard at first, but little by little, you will get there. And if you would like my personal support in your journey, I would love to be there for you. You can just book a call with me. There is a link down below, and we'll see how can I support you in your journey. And I hope to see you in the next one.